continuing our story about winter solstice and the season. And we decided to show you the ancient wheel that we use. And it's been created by someone that was with the group for over 20 years. So here it is in front of you. Can you see that easily, Lou?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very beautiful. And you can, as you look and you see the trees and the branches and all the different colors, you can tell how the season is moving. It's said it this way, but when we practice, we think of everything moon-wise. So half of the year is in the dark and half of the year is in the light. So what you have here is the light side going right into autumn equinox. When the light changes and the colors start to change, the dark is coming in. And it stays dark all the way till we get to spring equinox over here, when now we're back into the full light. So there's the half mark, okay? Equinox to equinox. And across each other is solstice to solstice. There it is. So the cross quarters are Beltane and Samhain, or Samhain, depending on where you're from, and Imbolc and Lammas, Lughnasadh. Lughnasadh being the other name used as well. As you can see from this, every season has a symbol or symbolic things to it. So what's your favorite one, Louise? Do you have a favorite?
The favorite one is always the one we're in.
Yeah, see, me too. I have to agree. And right now, the one we're in is all the way down here. Yes, it's upside down, but that does say winter solstice. And winter solstice is between Samhain and Samhain and Imbolc. So you have the symbol of Bran's head, which is the pumpkin head located at the bottom, celebrating that tradition. And when you get to winter solstice, you have the Yule log that's burning brightly right here. And the colors, of course, it's more dark, it's nighttime, it's starry skies, and it's winter. So we just wanted you to see the wheel. And there it is. Okay, so Louise, let us continue on.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you want to say about winter solstice? Anything particular strike you, like right off the top of your head?
Well, there's loads to say.
Yeah, there is.
And I never know where to start.
How about starting with what's happening to the planet that we live on?
Yes, or what I really love about this time, when you go out anywhere, if you're in the town or walking anywhere or just sitting and being, I really love the quietness, and I love the stillness, and I've learned to love that. From I used to find winter quite a difficult time, and through doing winter solstice and working with the whole year more consciously like that, I realized it's actually quite a short hop from one to the other, and it really gives me a context for the really deep and dark time of the year, which can feel like it stretches on forever. But if you pay attention to the changes and what is more available at different times and the different qualities of the moment, and build on that every year, you get to really look forward to the days when it's super dark. And I know, not saying that it's easy for everyone, that people do have a difficult time with it, but I have found that so much eased, and it's a lot more joyful now, because of the winter solstice time, which is quiet, the quietness. And that is because the plant life, everything is retreated inward. The leaves are all down, the trees are all inward, all of the kind of growth that's been crazy over the summer and sticking in your hair and catching you, that's all kind of back. And if you go out into the woods and just sit, it's got a very particular feel at this time. So that's a really good thing to do, just to go and find somewhere and sit and just be and see what's happening all around you and how it actually feels to do that.
I just want to say on that, a lot of people do not go to the seaside in the winter. They don't go. And they don't go, it's too cold, the wind, whatever. But if you did go, and sometimes you get those days in the winter where it's particularly sunny and you just bundle up and it feels so great to have that sun. And the water, the color of the water also shows more than it would during another time of year. It's good to understand what's happening all around the planet, not just in your backyard or on your way to work. Or I love the fact that you can just walk out and sit on a bench and be there and just look around anywhere you live, anywhere in the world, depending on your season. Will depend on obviously what you choose. But pick places that are unusual, like going to the seaside. That's just not the first place. Hey, it's freezing. Let's go to the seaside. No one's running to do that. But think, what if there was a fire at the seaside and you are looking at the water and you have that warmth and that the air is so clean and crisp and the watercolor is like magnificent and filled with stories of its own in the winter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's easier to hear in the winter from from not only from the earth, because like you say, the earth is quiet, so there's a lot more space to hear, and there's space for all the starriness to come down.
Agreed.
To experience that, because it feels like on a really cold day, like you are in space, as close to space you can be whilst remaining alive.
Yes, and still, yes, inhabiting this earth. Yes, you're true. So we don't want to spend a lot of time talking about any particular system over another or any particular way of going over another, but we do have to stay within the facts that we spent decades working within a pantheon. And as traveling occurred and moving around to different countries for the last 2 decades, there's been a broader look and more interest on the wheel as how it affects or it is affected or used by other cultures, from Syrian to Egyptian to French to Holland to Israel to all over the world that the ancient wheel has been used in. We have taken on the properties of a global look. So the ancient wheel of wisdom isn't based just on a Celtic model, even though it's a Celtic model was the beginning. And the pantheon that was used was a Welsh pantheon, like I stated. So we will refer to that because that's what we know. But it can be any name you want. Every place I've been, whatever goddess characteristics, you will find them in many other places in different names. And that's great. It's not born to one, it's born to all. And I think that's one of the things that was important since the pandemic, is to make sure everyone understands it's everyone's everything. It's not one way, one thing. It's not just one culture, it's many cultures. But we're going to stick with the pantheon that we're using and when we talk about this. So Arianrod is the pantheon goddess of the time, and she is a Welsh goddess. She's a warrior goddess, and she's of the stars system, the Corona Borealis. Now, a lot of people don't know that. I don't know why, but she is the queen of the galaxy. She is the one that allows the traveling. She is the great explorer. The greatest explorer is the star system, right? We don't really know much about space. And even as we think we do, it keeps getting recreated and more information to the point where, do you know, Louise, where it begins?
Nope.
No one does, and I don't either. But every time we turn around, there's another one, and it just keeps going and going. And there's all kinds of theories about it, but we're just going to stay within winter solstice and how the goddess has worked with us for all these years. Yeah, I think so. So what did you want to say about the earth and what's happening with the earth? You wrote some stuff down, I think that was really cool.
Yes, and it was. There's many many levels of engaging with winter solstice, and the threads really entwine around each other. And a lot of it, part of it is about revisioning the challenges that winter brings you, the darkness and the quietness, and finding the beauty and inspiration in that. So that's, I think, one important place for people who are beginning to start with.
Yeah, I agree. We spend a lot of time going and doing and being, and I think the Christmas whole thing, the timing of it is completely opposite what the planet is asking of, which is why I think there is so much discomfort for a lot of people, because it's not what you should be doing. It's a quiet time. It's an inward time. It is a cave-like time, just like the plants, just like the trees. Everything is drawn in. It's not out there blooming and standing out. No, it's pulling in and preparing for the emergence, which will be spring equinox time. So that's the same for us. And I think that's how we get in trouble, because we're not respecting what we live on. You cannot be here if you are not part of this earth. You are, your earthly body, which is what we call it sometimes, right, is here. But then we have the ability to go with our etheric body, which is what Aryan Rod brings at this time. You have the chance to be within and internal and have that little space. And in that little space, you can fly. You can understand so much more. And winter solstice affords it. So like you were saying before, it's great to look at it for what it affords you, not for what you may have considered before. Let's look at it differently. Reimagine. Respect, I guess, is a kind of a good word to use, if it even exists. Now, I've written some stuff down here as well, so people can certainly copy that if they want. But the season is to be more like Aryan Rod, the great explorer, and more like, let's let our etheric body get up and go out to the stars and to the great exploration. That's more available now, like I was saying. It's not a time to be about your physical body. It's not like, hey, let's go for a run. You can, because that's what you want, but is that what your body's asking for? And this is the other part. The seasons and the ancient wheel have us looking at every aspect of who we are, where we are, and how to create that in an honoring way at very peak times, which is what we'll be talking about tomorrow, is how to prepare more for what can you do to be more part of winter solstice in a basic sense, right? I think so. What do you think, Lou?
Yeah, I think there's a way to celebrate it, like we're going to talk about it tomorrow. I think for me, the experience of doing that has been really unexpected and quite incredible, that in a setup and a ceremony that you can create at home, through doing this work, was able to just really experience like a essence of the stars, to actually meet that time, and to be able to create a situation where you can exercise your etheric body, a bit of a workout, and actually manage to kind of touch those heights that are available. And then
I'm sorry, go ahead. What did you say? I'm sorry.
you can rise, that word, to kind of meet that really distant starriness, but in a way that you can bring that back to really enhance your life and just be an extra nourishment at this time.
Yeah, the thing that stood out with the ancient tradition of the Yule log is if you think of the smoke from wood and how it just goes and it filters out, you actually have the energetics all around you, and to do that on your own, to be able to lift yourself outside of here and be like a wisp of smoke and understand on a broader sense, and then be back into yourself and use that new information into your life and experience it, and then it becomes your new wisdom. So we'll be going over more of that tomorrow. Okie dokie?
Yes.
All right, so I'll see you tomorrow, Lou. Bye, everybody.